Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to day 2 of the 4th annual Austin Black Business Week. It's been just so informational this morning. We've learned definitely how to build a pathway to economic freedom through skills and entrepreneurship. We learned just some principles on how to finesse your hustle and making what you have available in front of you right now work for you. And so we're so excited to continue with our 11 a.m. presentation that will be featuring Dr. Shantana Robinson. Dr. Shantana Dr. Bridge Builder Robinson has over 23 years retail and business management experience. She is the founder of the business growth strategy agency known as MFAD Creative Group LLC. She served as the capacity building program coordinator for the Bexar County, where she assisted over 300 African-American businesses with growing their business via the AABE initiative. During her undergraduate years, Dr. Shantana attended Texas State University, where she received her bachelor's in business science and fashion merchandising with a minor in business management. Being the natural-born leader that she is, she went on to pursue and receive her master's of business science and management with honors from Colorado Tech University. Additionally, she received her doctorate in business administration from NCU after doing extensive research on the African-American female business owners in the San Antonio area. She is a believer that you are only as big as your dreams, so dream big. She lives by the motto of be happy with who you are today, who you were yesterday, and who you will become tomorrow. Live your life as if it's golden. Without further ado, I present to you Dr. Shantana Robinson. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Brianna, for that fabulous introduction. Good morning to everybody that is out there. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it to the fullest. As it was just mentioned, I am Dr. Shantana Robinson, and I am here with you today to talk about something that is extremely important as business owners when you are looking to grow and, as I like to call it, reach capacity for your business. So I only have 30 minutes, so it's going to be a lot of information that I'm going to try to push into the 30-minute window for you all that are out there. But please make sure you have a notepad. Feel free to utilize your phone and take some screenshots. That's perfectly fine. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started, right? So you just heard a really interesting introduction about me. I always tell people that I am the life of the party in a good way, with the cheesy smile that I always have on my face. But the beauty of it all is that I am a bridge builder. I have a habit of trying to connect folks. So some people on the professional side of the house would actually call me a connector, right? So I'm able to actually connect people to different opportunities and resources that they need. One of the big things that has came out of my numerous studies, and yes, 23 years, believe it or not, of being in the business, I'm a lot younger than I look. I love that. It comes into play when we talk about bidding and proposals, just from the resource side of the house. So when working with my company, MFAD Creative Group, the premise behind small business owners, and one of the things that I hear on a regular basis is, how can I actually go after RFPs or requests for proposals? How can I do business with the city? How can I do business with the state? It's just me. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. How do I connect the dots? So that's where I come in. One of the largest contracts that my firm currently has is working with the Women's Business Center and the SBA. And those questions that come in related to this tie into certifications. They tie into meeting with the right people and filling in those dots. So this presentation is all centered around getting you the framework that you need to have a successful proposal and bid that you can possibly win on when it is brought forth. So I am going to cover some of the nuances that are extremely important for you all to be aware of. So in front of you right now, you should have a actual slide that says once it's all over. So once it's all over, you'll have a better understanding of proposals and exactly what factor they play in. You'll also have an understanding of some of the best practices and what are some of the components of a solid proposal as well. How do certifications tie into that? Because you probably have heard that word numerous times before. You're like, I don't understand what role they play. And then knowing who to target, because that's huge as well, because sometimes business owners just want to submit a proposal or get a certification, but they really can't explain why. It's like, well, everybody else has it, so I thought I needed it too. So there's actually a tie-in to that as a whole that I want to make sure that all of you all walk out of here with. So the first thing, as I like to call it, a golden nugget that I want you all to be mindful of is what actually is a proposal. So in summary, it's a solicitation. In some cases, it can be solicited directly or unsolicited, where one party actually supplies another party with a good or service that they are requesting, right? Unlike an offer, it is not a promise or a commitment, but it is actually an expectation, right? That is supposed to deliver a follow through. It is a proposal. Here is what I am proposing that I can do for you. So that is just a nutshell of what it actually is, right? The reason why they're utilized could be a plethora of things, but here are what I consider the top 6 that you all should be aware of. So this includes an avenue to market your business. As strange as it sounds, there are some people who literally submit information for proposals just because they want to market their business and get their name out there in the field. They also want to level the playing field for other businesses as well. So when you're submitting proposals to like the city and the state, one of the big things that you want to be aware of is they have what's known as rubrics, which is a scorecard to make sure that the playing field is actually level for all business owners that are involved. So it's a scoring system. It's also tied into the project planning and the scope of work. So you get to build out and show what you're bringing to the table for this particular RFP or IFQ that may be out there. And it's alphabet soup, I know, with those letters, but there are a lot of them that are out there depending on who it is that you're looking to do business with. Your capabilities are also exposed as well when you submit these proposals. So this is your time to toot your horn, right? And show them what you are actually capable of. Some people actually put their capability statement in the appendix of their proposals as well. And that's a whole nother animal in itself. And of course, everything is in writing. So in other words, instead of having what they used to call a gentleman's agreement, you actually have the information in writing. It's typed out, it's saved. You have a copy of it. The individual who is the receiver or the particular or potential purchaser or buyer also has a copy of it as well. Here are some best practices. So this, I would say, would be one of your first screenshots that you definitely want to make sure that you take a picture of, because you're probably not going to be able to jot all of these down, but definitely take a picture if you get a chance, right? So best practices, and these best practices have come from me in relation to my own awarding of different contracts that I have received, as well as doing audits on proposals and working with the city of San Antonio, as well as the Women's Business Center, Bexar County, as well as Edwards Aquifer and SAISD. So all of these major resource partners, these are some of their best practices that I actually pushed together onto one particular slide in no particular order. Read the entire proposal more than once. I beg this of you, right? We have so many instances where business owners want to apply for stuff and they just see the headline. They're like, oh, that's right up my alley. Let me apply. Where there's all these other little small connecting pieces that we miss out on if we just would have read page 8. You would have known that it was exclusively open to veteran business owners. Or if you would have read page 9, you have to actually have been in business for 3 years. So make sure you read the entire proposal, highlight it, right? And then go back through it and read it again. Only apply for the proposals that you can truly work. Check your capacity. And I always use that word capacity. It's a huge word for me. And when you hear it in the world of business, it means being able to understand, right, where your business is currently at. So if you have like a really cool lawn care system, for example, you and your cousin, y'all do great work. You're working residential properties, cutting grass on the weekend, it is taken off. You hear about a request for a proposal for the Alamo Dome. They need someone to come in and do landscaping. It's a $2 million contract, right? If it's just you and your cousin at that current moment, there's no way that you would be ready to actually qualify for that proposal, especially if it has like a dead date of starting up like of March of this year, right? So you want to make sure that you are at capacity. Tying into that as well, when you see information like that, make sure you use that as a training tool for you to go further. So in other words, if you know that you're not at capacity now, what are the steps that you can actually take to get you to capacity for when that proposal comes back around? You're ready, right? So definitely make sure you pay attention to question, or should say caveat number 2. Number 3 on the list is pay attention to due dates and times, as well as the method of receiving. Some proposals are actually sent directly through people's email. Other proposals, they want you to walk in. Make sure you have a clear understanding of the due dates, the times, and the methods of receiving those specific proposals. Also be mindful too, if you're signing up or submitting a proposal to another state that's in another part of the United States, the time zone difference. We have actually had businesses that have completed a whole entire proposal and it was great, but it did not make the deadline simply because they saw the time and actually took it as their time zone when in actuality it was central. So make sure you're mindful of that as well. Review the instructions regularly. As crazy as it sounds, sometimes you'll go back and it'll look completely different than it did on day one when you looked at it. Attend the bid meeting or pre-bid meeting. Be sure to sign in. This is a really good tool for those small businesses that are out there who might be like, well, I really think I could go out for this RFP, but it's just me. Maybe I can be a subcontractor. And the way you would work that, and what I call that with my clients, is building a pipeline. You go to the pre-bid meeting or bid meeting, you sit in the room, you sign in, even if it's virtually, and when they submit the actual sign-in sheet, which is what they're supposed to do to all attendees, you can then send your capability statement to some of the larger firms that might have been in the room that might be looking for subcontractors. So you may not be able to go after that Alamo Dome contract that's $2.5 million because it's just you and your cousin that run your lawn care business. But guess what? You're sitting in the room and there is Capital City Lawn Care Company sitting in there, and you know for a fact that they love to work with subs. So what you'll do after that pre-bid meeting is you will send a letter directly to the individual that was there on their behalf with your capability statement, letting them know that you would like to be one of their subs on the contract. So you did not get the contract as a prime, but you were still able to go out for the contract as a sub. So make sure you're mindful of all of those really cool little components that still keep you in the game as a small business owner. Another question that comes through on a regular basis is, what's the difference between a bid meeting, pre-bid meeting, and then a mandatory? A bid meeting is actually just the date, the main date that everybody that's interested in the proposal or RFP should be in attendance. The pre-bid is normally the one that comes first, right? So it's right when they drop it into the system. Hey, if you want to attend, you can come hear about this idea, concept. It might even be what's known as a inquest for information, right? So you're just trying to find out what's going on. The mandatory bid is really interesting because that one is when somebody in the room is going to get the proposal, right? So it's closed off to everybody else except the attendees that attended the mandatory pre-bid. I have actually sat in a room as an auditor where there were 2 people that were coming in for a contract to actually take care of arboristry service, so tree cutting service for the city of San Antonio. 2 people were in the room for this mandatory bid, and one of them actually walked out of the room with the bid. So make sure you have a clear understanding of that role as well. Give exactly what is requested. So in other words, do not add additional items, because the more items you add, that's more for them to read and to dig into. Be clear and concise. Check your spelling and make sure you pay attention to your verbiage, and that ties into the how and the where. Use standardized terms, answer in bullet points or short paragraphs when required, and have an introductory letter only if you have space, right? Which is also known as a founder's letter, just introducing yourself, thanking them for the opportunity. Please include a table of contents, because in some cases, they actually will go to that table of contents and go directly to the section that they want to see the most, which in most cases is how much are you going to charge, right? Also, make sure you have a clear understanding of your company's history. It sounds crazy, but we have individuals who apply for RFPs and RFQs, and they can't even tell us when they were founded. And it's strange, but it has happened. So make sure you have a clear understanding of your company's history, and also have updated resumes and bios of your key team members. This comes into play a lot, because they want to see the face as well as the history of the individual that wants this, six-figure, sometimes multi-million-dollar contract. What are you bringing to the table? So you're a caterer and you have 25 years of experience. Why would you not want to tell them that you're bringing that to the table? So please make sure you take those best practices into consideration. Your actual components that are tied to your proposal include all of the items that I have listed on here, right? So this includes an introductory letter, table of contents. You should have an executive summary, which is normally 1 to 1.5 pages long. It answers the who, how, what, and when. The company background, like your mission statement, your vision statements, and qualifications are included in that as well. An outline of the scope of work, right? So how are you actually going to be able to accomplish what it is that they are seeking? Your references need to be solid. So in other words, your references need to be someone that you have actually had a contract with, that has actually received services from you. It may not necessarily have to be directly in the exact service, unless they note that in the RFP, because some of them do, but it does have to be somebody that has received a viable service from you, and they're able to actually answer or submit questions to that business or individual and see what they say. And any kind of value added services should also be featured in there as well, past projects. And then of course, I mentioned earlier about the scorecards. Does certifications play a role in your proposals? In some cases, they can. It actually depends on what it is that you're actually applying for, as well as the actual agency. Sometimes they will be listed on there because some agencies do have it as a goal requirement as well. So in other words, it will say 20% point given for WOSD or WBEs, which are Women Business Enterprises, or VBEs, which are Veteran Business Enterprises. So certifications do play a role. In the state of Texas, depending on where you're located, there are different certifying bodies, and those certifications are completely for free. We always get calls into my agency about having to pay for certifications, right? Your main certifications do not cost you anything. There is one that everybody's familiar with that does have a fee, and I actually have a slide, so I'm going to show you exactly which one that is. But your standard certifications do not cost you anything. South Central Texas Regional Certification Agency, also known as RCA, is the certifying body in this area for all of the 11 surrounding counties. You also have in Austin, your Minority Economic Development Office, which has its own certifications that they do as well. And if you're in Dallas, you're part of the North Central Texas Regional Certification Agency. You will simply go onto their website, and right where it says get certified, you'll click that window open and fill out the application process. You'll check all of the boxes that qualify for you. Be mindful that there will be actual pieces or documents that you will have to upload, but they do give you a great window of opportunity With South Central, it's 60 days in order for you to fill out that application. The certification that you will have to pay for is this one. This is the National Minority Supplier Development Council CERT. It is $300. This certification actually pays itself tenfold within 30 days. I tell people this on a regular basis. I actually have my MBE, not only through the RCA, but also through them. And the main reason why is because of the heavy hitters that are attached to this particular CERT. If you've ever wanted to work with Target, Macy's, the huge Black History setup that's going on now with Target, they pulled those vendors via the National Minority Supplier Development Council. This is the main governing body that they work with when they're looking to actually work with minority vendors. Definitely make sure you put them in your wallet and look into actually applying to be MBE certified through them. That fee is annual. It gets you access to one-on-one meetings with Facebook, Toyota, Target, and a plethora of other heavy hitters that they have in their Rolodex, as well as access to their stakeholders meeting that they host every February. And the one for this year is actually being held virtual, of course, with the pandemic. If you're a woman-owned business, please be mindful of the WOSB, which is your woman-owned small business certification. This one is also free. It used to have a fee attached to it. It no longer does. You can actually go directly through the Small Business Administration and apply for your certification as a WOSB if you're looking to do some serious heavy contracts on the federal side of the house. So if you're not looking to get involved with SAM, which is your Systems for Awards Management, your standard WBE, which is your Women Business Enterprise that you get through the RCA or North Central or the City of Austin, is perfectly fine. But if you are looking to potentially go what's known as 8A and do some business with the DoD, multi-million-dollar contracts, maybe you're in construction, then you definitely want to look into your WOSB. And all of these certifications that I just mentioned are tied into potential RFPs and RFQs as far as the rubrics go that you may actually run into where they ask for certs specifically. The next big thing that you probably want to know is who do you target, right? So once you have a clear understanding of putting together a proposal, where does the money reside? How can you find the big opportunities? Well, depending on what your industry in, there are a lot of governing bodies that actually have RFPs and RFQs on a regular basis, from BidNet to DIR, government service agreement is another one. And then the buy board is a huge one for all of the different school districts, right? So being mindful of where those actual agencies are plays a significant role and is extremely important with you reaching capacity. And you can simply type those into your search window and find out more information about them. And this is just the Bexar County supplier portal window because they're a huge supplier that I work with on a regular basis. And the city of San Antonio is another one. The reason why I included both of those is because they're actually what's known as being decentralized. So in other words, there is not a one and done situation for applying and seeing the current RFPs and RFQs that are available. You have to go to the county on one side and in your city on another. The other big question as we round out the proposal situation is what happens if I don't get awarded? Ask for a debriefing. This is huge. Minority businesses, for some strange reason, we are infamous for not asking why. Why did I not get awarded, right? So ask for that debrief. What was correct? What were some of my opportunity? What needs to happen the next time? Thank them for their consideration and then follow up on that specific project's progress, right? So it's been awarded. What is it that they're going to bring to the table and do different that I need to definitely keep an eye on? Also, make sure that you check the bid tab, right? So in other words, the previous history that's attached to the project to see what are some of the things that worked for the individual that got awarded that contract. But please make sure you ask for your debriefing. When it's all said and done, be mindful that no one knows your business better than you, right? So you must stay up to date and open to change because RFPs, RFQs, they're ever changing on an ongoing basis, literally within 24 hours in some cases, depending on what it is that you are going out for. But having the bones of a solid proposal is key. And I always tell my clients, your computer is your best friend. So as you're you're filling out all of this information, because it's time consuming, make sure that you're saving items into Word documents and an actual filing system. So as more RFPs come forward, you don't have to fill out all of your general information, right? Because you have it all saved. So you could just literally cut and paste that information as you go, and it speeds up your process. And definitely make sure you take time to actually save that information and update it on a regular basis. That is the end of my presentation. As I mentioned before, I am Dr. Shantana Robinson. Feel free to email me. There is my direct email, or visit my company's website. It's on there at the bottom, which is www.managementforaday. I am huge on LinkedIn as well. I consider that my professional wheelhouse. So please make sure you check me out on LinkedIn. Hit me up, follow me, and I will do the same. I wish you all the best. And let me check and see if we have any questions. Brianna, how are we doing?
We're doing well. We have one question that says, do you recommend first-time business owners to work with someone for their very first proposal?
Depending on, that's a great question. Depending on what the proposal actually is, yes, unless you feel 100% comfortable that you have it in the bag, there is nothing wrong with actually partnering up with someone. Just make sure that both parties that are involved have a clear understanding of what they're bringing to the table, right? So if the check is going to be cut for 50 grand, make sure you have a clear understanding of how that's going to be structured. Are they going to do 80% of the work and you're coming in at 20, or are you going to do it 50-50? Also be mindful that both parties will have to submit their information for the proposal as well.
Well, I've been monitoring both of the chats, and it looks as if there is not any more questions. So we just really want to say thank you, Dr. Shantana, for providing us with such an amazing presentation, for utilizing your years of experience to help other business owners, other entrepreneurs, or aspiring entrepreneurs to really just understand the process in writing proposals. And so we really appreciate, but guys, if you're watching, be sure that you're connecting with Dr. Shantana. She definitely provided her contact information. Send her an email, phone, to just really learn how we can work together for what it is that you're looking to do in your business. So again, if there is not any further questions, we want to say thank you all. If you're watching on Facebook or on Zoom, be sure that you're commenting your name under the videos, because you will be entered into a drawing for a gift certificate coupon to a local Black-owned business as we continue to recycle the dollar with the Black Dollar Tour. So also, really quick announcement, our 12 p.m. Session has been canceled. It has been, let's see. It has been canceled, so we wanted to let everyone know that we will want to see you guys back at 3 p.m. today, as we will hear from Miss Jasmine Frank, and she will speak on Behold My Beauty. A girl should always be unapologetically beautiful. Okay, so listen, it's been amazing. Again, Dr. Shantana, thank you so much for all that you're doing and taking your time. And guys, we will see you back here at 3 p.m. Until then, we'll see you later. Bye.